Hello and welcome to Let's Play Disco Elysium Part 29. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And if you can, consider supporting me on Patreon. Alright, so it's getting a little late in the game, but we have succeeded in our mission of singing karaoke. You feel the shadow of a very large building fall on you. I think we should explore this large building. Dusty pews in the shadows, many seem to be missing. Let's have a little look around. An altar shrouded in dark, or something like that. It's too dark to tell. There's a... ooh! Cha-ching! Lovely. I was kind of given the impression that we should find out a bit more. Sant Brun 1147. And have a little poke about. Ah, interesting. What's this? Some sort of hollow rock? These rusty gears used to turn the whole machine. But what is it? The chain trails off into the ocean to who knows where. Ah, so this is what they were talking about. This looks like a completely different building. Is it anything to do with the church? This barrel has been recently discarded. It smells of fuel oil. I wonder if there's anyone else we can ask about the church. Ooh. New shirt, +1 rhetoric, -1 to empathy. I hear what sounds like a ship or something. Cigarette butts, cleaned away under the rock. Brand 2 Mortiri. You take mental note. 2 Mortiri seems important somehow. Someone's made a campfire here a long time ago. A rusted, broken control box for the radio relay tower. The ladder is too rusty to climb. The sea air has eaten away at it. This relay tower coordinates boat traffic in the bay. Barely. So is it a... oh, new tie. Tiny inlets there, off in the distance, where the posts trail towards. Is this tower like a lighthouse, or is there a lighthouse elsewhere? Not sure, but doesn't look like we can do much with that building. Oh. The boardwalk rises to your south. It casts a long shadow over you. Yeah, I feel if we maybe can question more people about the church, that would be useful. I'm not entirely sure the two buildings are in fact connected. A dead phone, a smashed receiver, like someone hung up too hard. You can imagine why calls become terrible sometimes. Someone must have worked hard to smash the plastic dome. A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change. I am not out of change. Pick up the handset. Okay. Put 10 cents in and dial a random number. Calling. Still calling. This feels wrong. Should you be doing this? End of tone. Someone picks up. Pierre? Is that you, Pierre? The voice is female and sounds about 100 years old. It might be. What's Pierre like? So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died. What kind of pets do you have? Are you sure you're Pierre? Your voice is different. There. Chrysanthemum. Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sounds like waves washing on a beach, growing in volume until this call suddenly disconnects. You get a sinking feeling. It makes you look... If Lieutenant Kusaragi overheard you, to your relief he did not. Okay, maybe this is something we should do without him being here. Mind you, I'm not sure what calling random numbers will do for us. Ooh, what's... Buzz, hum. The electricity flows through the wires with audible power. What is over here? Bars cover these long, dusty windows. The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years. Try to see inside. Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea. Lieutenant, can you make out what's inside? No, he shakes his head. The windows rattle in their frames. I won't even try, you know. He takes his glasses off. I had a partner once. They called him Eyes because he had to show me things. It's that bad. This partner of his, Eyes. Things didn't end well. It saddens him to say the name. Don't even ask. He wouldn't answer. Maybe some other small talk? Can you still shoot, though? Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I passed my shooting courses 7 out of 10. Big billboard. You see a once bright mural towering over you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away. Tomorrow is just a whisper away." Looks like tomorrow never came. The lieutenant raises his collar of his bomber jacket. Okay, turn away. Oh, we're kind of cashing in here anyway. Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. Ooh. Do we need our crowbar? We might need our crowbar. Tools, 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 tools. Let's crowbar it. Wow. We rich. We've got a lot of health boosts. The fence blocks the path. No way on from here. There's a ladder. Ooh, there's a tree. And it looks like we can kind of walk around the base somehow. Yes, down this way. Gosh, this it's quite large this way, isn't it? Exploring, exploring to the ends of the earth. No boat in the boathouse today. This section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. Hypnogamma. Some sort of massive morale boosting stuff. And some superstar sunglasses. They sound like they would suit us. Cha-ching! The boathouse is shoddily constructed. A strong breeze might blow it over. What have we here? Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of this shaded bench, covered in rust. A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other. Why so many bullet holes? A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet, no sound, no movement. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. Snowflakes fall on the wooden planks and the surrounding sand dunes, covering the land with the white of innocence. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Yes, fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace of remains. What is this? The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. It looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed. Look at the people against the wall. A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any detail about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them. Who were they? Comrades, the forsaken, the wretched, who tried to rise against the horrors of the world. Look at the soldiers. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one? Men of duty, dark duty. Who were they? Murderers, twisted by orders, young boys forced into killing. Look at the people standing on the side. The commandant, the one who gives the order, machine gun fire crackling through the air, the lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face. Kim, Who was who in this execution? At first the lieutenant doesn't say a word, he just stares at the wall. I don't know, he says finally. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces. It could even have been the employees of Feld R&D Centre down the coast, as their building was taken over by the revolutionaries. Or maybe, what about people from the coalition, the so-called moralists? Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior, giving the orders. Okay. A cold sea wind blows away the figures. The sign says, Entry interdict. Whatever that means. An old ticket taker booth, no longer in operation. People paid money to park here? No one would pay now. Hey. Just a wee bit of recycling. Even more recycling. Excellent. Cha-ching. The door is not only barred shut, it's inaccessible. Fawn Pipo Pipo. So it's a hat, like the girls. Seems to give you extra logic. I wouldn't have said it gave her any extra logic, but, well, you never know, I guess. I'm not sure pathing is bringing us to quite the right place, but perhaps we'll trust it for now. Then again, maybe not. Of course, we may not be able to get anywhere around here at all. No, that looks like it's as far as we go. Let's have a look at this little box here. Anything else? Can we take this bottle? Nope. Oh. That patch of reeds over there, it's a great place to hide something. Kind of out of the way, being so close to the water. What is this about? Nothing, just a hunch. The hunch passes, leaving you there by the old boy bobbing in the water. Time to go. A boy bobs in the water. The number on it says 11. Oh! There's some people here. Tiny cages, carefully constructed. These soggy logs smell of ignition fluid. Still, they won't light up. Don't you ever wish Heimdall was a real place? It's almost impossible to get a fire going near to the ocean. Money in an old tin. These heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes, crumbling. Alright, let's find out who these people are.
Hello, I'm Gary.
Gary,
How do you
the
do, officer?
crypto-fascist?
Yellow man. I mean, officer.
Oh, wow. The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook. Yellow man? Interesting. This is something to ask him about after a little probing first.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization.
Not a lover of the great outdoors?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
Sadly, I think I might be a drunk or a degenerate. Maybe even both.
Dark times will do that to good men.
He nods gravely, then shifts his gaze to the pile of soggy logs at his feet. Serious question time. This man is no innocent. No one is. Ah, is this your mug? Hold up the yellow man mug. My mug? Why would you think that? It seemed like you were calling to it longingly when you cried, "Yellow man." Jose, I see you recognise it. It's in your eyes. I may have had a similar looking mug in the past, that's all. It still seems suspicious. Did I mention the mug was found at the scene of a lynching? Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. Ah, hallelujah. I know I shouldn't have, but I am very sorry, officer. He pauses. You're not going to fine me, are you? Nah, Gary, I just want information. Whoa, he's visibly relieved. Thank you. You won't regret this. I won't use another man's property to dump my garbage ever again. I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Kodgkos price dumping us out of competition. What did you do, Gary? Nothing. Just answering some questions, helping the law. How did you get into the trash container? I know a guy who works with trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez. Why would you need to get into everyone's trash? So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff, he says, bowing shamefully like a fallen knight. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hymens run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself. Disgraced? The lieutenant raises his eyebrows and looks up. No need for histrionics, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container. He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer. Gary, did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the Whirling in rags, into that trash container? Officer, please, he raises both hands. Let me explain. It's not like that. Do. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked, all the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know. Yes, what happened? Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them in the Whirling's trash, along with a broken mug, admittedly. He changes his mind mid-sentence. Okay, I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there, and the clothes too. Right, it was just civic duty, the lieutenant remarks, drolly. Exactly. That's exactly what it was, civic duty. As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but where? What's that strange sound? What sound? That clinking I just heard when you moved. Really? He fans his arms out slowly, and this time his motions are soundless. There's a lot of weird stuff out there in the reeds though. Insects, trash. Could be the wind, shifting some garbage nearby. Let's probe them on that again. Don't mess with me. I think you know what I'm talking about. I haven't the slightest. There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds. Okay. You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armour, would you? Armour? No. He changed his mind. I mean, yes, of course. I know he was wearing armour, but I don't know anything about it. An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit to more wrongdoing. Let's move on for now. Our composure is terrible. Doesn't look like we're liable to make this check. Do you know anything about the man hanged behind the whirling in rags? I told you everything I know, sir. I'm truly sorry for the mug, but I have nothing to do with that. He shifts uncomfortably in his clothes. Uncomfortable shifting around doesn't make him the killer, though. It's something else. You were surprised to see my colleague, Kitsuragi. Not many Seolites here, or anywhere other than Seoul. I meant no offence, truly. The lieutenant is a native of Revachol. Oh yes, of course he is. I was speaking about his connections. He flashes an impenetrable smile. Let's change the subject, okay? Okay, are you a cryptozoologist too? No, I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way. But I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own. What does he do then? This feels like a good opportunity to dominate him. What do you do then, if not cryptozoology? Oh, this and that, he grins. Sounds intriguing. Sometimes. See, he's being evasive. Shake him up. Show him who's boss. That's not an answer. I just didn't want to bore you with unnecessary detail, officer. I work as a special courier. You know, urgent deliveries, overnight deliveries, deliveries to out-of-the-way locations. So you deliver things. What kind of things? Oh, I don't know the contents, officer. Part of my job is discretion. Fascinating. So all we can do is potentially try to deal with our composure a bit. Part of it might be the clothes. I think I'm wearing the super uncomfy pants. None of this helps our composure. But yeah, taking the super uncomfy pants off would. Composure's still at -1 from something, but I'm not sure. From the boots. So that's probably the best we can do, although not wearing any pants might be a little dodgy.
Always a pleasure to see, officers.
This ain't a good check, but let's have a go. Oh. Is he? He's looking uncomfortable enough. Maybe it was just beads? Sounded like beads. But what kind of beads might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes? Are those prayer beads I keep hearing? I don't pray, officer. Faith is non-existent helpers. Faith in non-existent helpers is a sign of weakness. Not for proper Revacholian men such as ourselves. Okay, thanks for your help. I wonder what it is. I think we've been as far as we can along here, haven't we? Alright, guess we will talk to the cryptozoologist. We could take a bit more of a...
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. It looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officer.
You must be Morel, the cryptozoologist?
To what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure in your appearance. Okay. Lena sent me. She's really worried about you and is waiting for you to get back.
Ah, of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damned waterlock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
Yeah, that was me. I broke the water lock with my motor carriage, but it's fixed now. You can go back.
You broke the waterlock with the motor carriage? But there was a billboard in the canal. Not a vehicle, it said Samaran Butter.
Ah! No, see, I jumped over the canal in my motor carriage, tearing through the Samaran Butter sign, which fell into the canal, blocking the gates. I used the pawn shop as a launch ramp.
Why?
He spreads his arm in disbelief. Okay, yeah, let's go with this one. It was an experiment to gauge the Cupre's 40's aerial performance. I'm something of a gentleman scientist.
Scientist? Yes, okay.
He
But
quickly
you said the
comes to
waterlock is
terms.
fixed now, so we can go back.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary, we can go soon. If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
He refastens a bit of netting that has come loose in the wind. For all his passion, this man is diligent and patient. You could learn things from him. Alrighty. Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in reeds laying traps for it. What makes it so difficult to find? Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phastomodea, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. He looks around. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may also have developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists in our present case. What sorts of specialised techniques is this? It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defences that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. But I cannot describe how these defences work, much less how they evolved, without studying a live specimen. Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something paranatural about this phasmid. How big is this phasmid? I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea Zohunis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So, he leaves the conclusion up to you. What have you discovered about it so far? Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information is based on first and third-hand accounts. So no one's ever found one? Not yet. He holds up an index finger. That's what makes it a cryptid. The lieutenant interjects. Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real? I know it's real, the cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough that even he seems to be taken aback by it. It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of scientific advancement. By which I mean, he says, gathering himself, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulidian phasmid is more than mere superstition. Lena said there have been sighting of it here in Martinez. Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. That's what brought us to Martinez specifically. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore. Maybe the Insulidian phasmid has died out? The cryptozoologist shakes his head vigorously. I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought to be capable of parthenogenesis. He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes them easier for a species with a small population to survive. Females reproducing without males? Crime against passion and common sense? What? Okay, let's go with that's pretty clever. Yes, the Insulidian phasmid is a very clever insect, and that's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I try my best to remain dispassionate. Have you noticed anything off about your friend Gary? What? No? Of course not. Why? Are you sure? Well, he lowers his voice. He's been a little unenthusiastic about the trip. More so than usual. But that's understandable. He just wants to get home and warm up. He doesn't want to say it, but this is unusual. Gary's been to the jungle with him, to places way more challenging than the coast. Why so eager to go home? How did you become a cryptozoologist? I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. He seems reluctant to talk about himself, but he'll open up, if you prod a little. So you're living your childhood dream out here? His eyes narrow. It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. Have you ever discovered a cryptid? No, very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name of cryptid. How many cryptids have been found? Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing stages of discovery, refutation and data collection. Only 2 have been proven to be real? Yes, the Xiao Tao Quan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Yugograd, who is, honestly, quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. Most cryptids are hoaxes, or are never found. That does not mean we should stop searching. Nod approvingly. Then the Insulidian phasmid will be the 3rd. Indeed. He does not smile, just looks you in the eye. It's a forceful gaze. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it, from Revicol to Du Chantu. It will be a zoological miracle. He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or swaying his opinion. Thanks for explaining that. Now about something else. Let's talk about specific cryptids. He eyes you skeptically. Alright, what cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what we would have to discuss, he wants to say, but decides against it. You need to ask him about specific cryptids. Cryptids you've heard from Lena or his friend Gary. He won't just talk. Okay. So, we need to find out some names before we can ask him. Tell me about these traps. Well, he points at the cage of mesh and wiring on the ground. They may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick. Lena designed the traps? Yes, he says with some pride. How do the traps work? Simple. Attracted by locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel, and having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton. What are you using as bait? Locusts. He gestures towards the trap. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, however, but we've hypothesized that the Insulidian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects. Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny chittering swarm. A man-eating stick insect? Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behaviour? This seems unlikely. Yeah, let's say that. Thank you for your opinion. We have also included plant material in the traps to satiate your skepticism. Not a big fan of skepticism, this one. What will you do if these traps don't work? They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by our team, which used only plants. We have given this some thought. Okay. Lena seemed pretty eager for you to return. And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you, but I can't leave before we've finished with these traps. He looks south, where Lena would be. My wife understands that just as well as anyone. Come on, Morel, we've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back. And leave the traps? Absolutely not, he yells in response. I won't let Lena down. Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here. We'll both catch reed crabs if we don't dry out soon. Won't let Lena down? Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection to the phasmid somehow. I didn't know the phasmid was so important to Lena. Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting, on record, one of the only 4 this century, and it's hers. Really? She sighted the phasmid? She didn't tell me that. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another, in fact. But that's her story to tell, not mine. He coughs, then continues. Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious phasmid. Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulidian phasmid together. I can't abandon course now. Another cough into his fist this time. Maybe you could come back to the whirling, warm up, come back and check the traps later? No. The traps need to be monitored on a regular schedule. What would we do if the phasmid were to starve while we were sipping tea at the hostel? He's dead set on this. What if we check the traps for you? He looks at you with obvious surprise. I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer. Cryptozoology and detective work are very similar. Yes, indeed, both require a great deal of research, attention to detail, and above all, persistence. Where are these traps? There are 4 in total. One is to the south, on this little peninsula, by the boathouses there. He points south. It's very near. Another we set in Land's End to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there, on your way to the old radio tower after the church. The third is set near the canal where you crossed, by a concrete slab. a big thicket of reeds going up the slope, and among them he gestures the trap in front of him. You should check at least one of these before returning to this one, since I just set it. This one's more of a technicality, but still better safe and stupid than sorry. That seems like a lot. Do we really have time for extracurricular venture? Asked Kim. What, aren't you having fun? Even relative to examining a week-old corpse, I'm not sure mucking about in the reeds qualifies as fun. But have it your way, detective. If you think it's important, you have been right before. What do I do if there's a phasmid in one of these traps? Bring it to me at once. Just make sure the trap is closed tight. He's not comfortable with the possibility that you'll claim the find, but he's lying about this even to himself. What if I encounter the phasmid in the wild? That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do, he takes out a small white spray can. I'll spray you with a pheromone mixture I developed. Ooh. It's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting at the sight of you. It's quite potent. Will last for about a week. Lay it on me. Thick. Present your arm. He douses you with the odd-smelling spray, a double helping, as you present your other armpit, and then gives you a satisfied nod. The lieutenant wrinkles his nose. I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister. So it would be precious, like holy water. It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 rial to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one's own research. He looks at the lieutenant with disdain, then puts the spray back in his pocket. All right, I'm ready. Let's do it. Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling. Whatever he thinks about this detour, it's clear that these men are exhausted and in need of assistance. Finally, someone's talking sense. Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp. If you have any more questions, now's the time to ask. We'll be gone once you get to it. Okay, I'll get going. Not sure if we were a little bit too keen to go on this mission. Thank you to my epic patrons who make videos like these possible. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see more, don't forget to subscribe.